But what are you hearing about Edwin Diaz right now?
Oh, he's fine. He was just faking a hip injury to get out of a balk. No, I'm kidding. That's what Thomson said. They say he's fine. I'll be honest with you. Anytime I hear hip and a player over 30, I immediately feel worried for a second. But people do have cramps and recover from them, and that's what they said happened. So until further notice, he's fine.
Okay, so let's talk about that Rob Thomson quote. Phillies manager said that, quote, "That's a play that I'll have to remember to tell pitchers," end quote. Terry, what do you make of that as a former manager?
Well, first of all, I think a little bit is frustration because they just got swept on the road, and they're supposed to be the best team in the National League East, and they got swept. I think it's a little bit of frustration coming out. I don't think Rob. First of all, it's like nobody's ever all of a sudden something has happened and it's in the middle of a game and you got to make a decision. And like I told you, Michelle, before we started the show, let me tell you something. If you're facing one of the best closers in the game and this guy wants to take himself out, please do. Right. Go. I got nothing to say about it. I don't want to face you anyway. And so if I was Rob, I'd be standing back saying, yes, okay, I hope he's out for 2 months. But to make a statement that that was a trick play, that play shouldn't happen. Oh, I'm going to tell my guys how to do it. That's sour grapes for me.
Yeah. Shots fired. Andy, did you have any insight on that?
I was just surprised too because again, frustration not a big deal. I would be very surprised if Carlos Mendoza was mad about this. He probably I haven't talked to him about it. It's probably just whatever, but. Rob Thomson and Mendy go all the way back to Yankee player development many years ago and are close. So it was just weird. It must be a frustrating time to be a Philly, and I guess you just write it off to that.
It sure is. I had a couple personal friends that are Phillies fans in my DMs yesterday, and I was like, yeah, well, that's tough, you guys. So let's go back to the injury. So Sean Manaea, what are you hearing on that front, Andy?
It's still going to be a while. He's still playing catch. Progressing slowly-ish. So if you're talking about at least another couple weeks, and we're at just about the end of April, late May, early June, something like that would be the current hope for Manaea to come back.
And Frankie Montas?
Yeah, I don't know. He never pitched for the Yankees either. I don't know. Someday.
All right, Jose Siri?
That one's going to be a couple of months. With the fracture that unfortunately for the Mets, because they brought in Siri to play a plus center field, and Tyrone Taylor is that perfect fourth outfielder. So this does disrupt that a little bit. But when you break a bone, unfortunately, that's going to be a couple months.
Okay. All right. Well, Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez are expected to return to the team tomorrow. So I want to talk catchers for a little bit. Terry, Luis Torrens has done such a great job filling in for Alvarez, and David Stearns was somewhat hesitant to name Alvarez as the starting catcher upon his return. How would you, as a manager, split the playing time between both catchers?
Well, I think, when Alvarez gets back, obviously he's going to play. But, you got to work him in the lineup a little bit. There's nothing, Michelle, you got to be careful about watching what goes on in rehab. We don't know who he faced, what kind of pitching he faced. So he's going to get back to the big leagues. He's going to play, but you know what? The other guys earned some playing time. And as a manager, you have to recognize that. And you're going to tell Alvarez, hey, look, I'm going to get you back in there. I'm going to get you some at-bats, but I'm not afraid to play this other guy because he played very, very well when you weren't here. So he's also going to get some playing time. And, it may work out to benefit both guys, to keep them rested. And obviously, if somebody gets hot offensively, you got to get him in the lineup to get his bat in the lineup. But I think time will tell. But, Torrens has earned the right to be in there a little bit, because I'm going to tell you something. I was very, very impressed watching this guy catch, and he's put some good at-bats on, even though, maybe his average isn't, terribly high, but I'll tell you what, he's got some big hits and put on some good at-bats. So you got to make sure he's, because you never know when Alvarez, if something happens again, you got to make sure that Torrens has been used to playing and getting in, seeing live pitching. And so I think both of them are going to get a chance to play in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I think that's right, Terry. And then you see where it goes from there, because there's no way. Luis Torrens is not going to be a backup catcher anytime soon. There's no doubt, because that wouldn't be the best way for the Mets to win games. He's proven himself defensively to be a starting caliber catcher, and Alvarez has not yet proven himself. Unfortunately for him, with all the talent that he has, there's been so many injuries and stops and starts and some inconsistency offensively and defensively. I think Alvarez has a bright future, but they're going to ease him back in. You're not going to hear, and it's not a controversy either, you're not going to hear Mendoza ever say, at least anytime soon, this guy's my starter, this guy's my backup. It's like, well, it's just every week they're going to roll out the games that make sense for the one guy and the games that make sense for the other guy. But in terms of being like a true backup catcher, like you're going to catch maybe once, maybe twice a week, day game after night, that's not what Torrens is going to be anytime soon, for sure.
So it's not like full Wally Pipp. It's like half Wally Pipp.
It's a Wally, but not Pipp. That's right.
Wally's going to get a chance to get back in the lineup, but right now the other guy's doing pretty good. So
exactly, and there's no need to make it anything. I think the conversation around teams, media, fans, it's like, who's your starter? Who's your backup? And the Mets' position on this is like, relax. They're both going to play. And, like, can we not put labels on it? It's that kind of thing.
I think that's totally fair. Let's move on to McNeil. Terry, where do you see McNeil defensively when he returns?
Offensively?
Defensively.
Defensively, well, I think he's got to play second base. I mean, that's, for me, that's where he belongs. And I think that's where he, again, for me, I think Jeff is a very, very, he's made himself a very good second baseman. But I just hope that his bat gets back to where we know what he can do, because, he shows when he puts the bat on the ball, things happen. And I think, you add that good bat in the middle of that lineup, and all of a sudden, boy, it gets deeper and deeper, and it makes it tougher and tougher for those opposing pitchers to get through that lineup. And for me, that's what Jeff's got to do for me. He's got to become the offensive player we know he is.
Well, Tyron Taylor was starting after Jose Siri fouled that ball off its leg. So, Andy, are you comfortable with Taylor being the everyday center fielder? Or do you think they should start platooning, McNeil or Acuna?
What they're going to do in center, Michelle, I think, is have Taylor, of course, start the majority of the games, which comfortable, sure. He's here to be one of the greatest fourth outfielders you could ever want, and that he can not play for several days, come off, give you a great at bat, do a lot of little things like the other day when he had hustled to stay out of a double play, which led to Lindor's big home run. I mean, just such a winning player. But you just deal with it with Siri out, that he's going to play a little bit more than you had planned. And then they're going to have Jose Azocar to also play center. And so McNeil and Acuna can do it in a pinch, but primarily those two are going to be in the infield dirt.
Terry, Brett Beatty and Luis Angel Acuna have been pretty productive this past week. How do you see them getting consistent playing time once McNeil returns?
Yeah, Michelle, again, that's the tough job as a manager and a general manager is when you get a star player back and you've got a player that's producing for you. You got to find spots for people, and those are the decisions that are tough. And I think Brett's shown that, hey, look, I can play here at this level. I know when he got off to the rough start, everybody was saying, well, he's going to be the guy that gets optioned out. Well, I don't know what's going to happen right now, but I know one thing: if he is the guy that's sent out, he's better. He can be disappointed, but he better feel good that he's proved that not only to himself but to a lot of people that he can be a starting player in the big leagues. Because we've all seen the talent, and he's starting to show it now. But somebody's got to go, and it may be a decision that you don't like, but it's got to be made.